first wave of suburbanization in Lexington began in 1870 and lasted until 1915. During this period, railroads were developed. This contributed to a population increase that more than doubled the existing population of Lexington.
Oh, I've been working on the railroad all the live long day.
They settled near the railroads and built Victorian houses, many of which still stand today. Development increased to the point that by 1900, 11 trains ran between Lexington and Boston. As a result of the first wave, immigrants also began to settle in Lexington and work on the railroads. By 1887, 23% of Lexington business professionals and workers were commuters. Easy access to the city as well as the high elevation of Lexington made it an ideal place to live.
You know just what to do. Walk up to the kind policeman, the very first one you meet, and simply say, I've lost my way, I cannot find my street.
The second wave of suburbanization began in the 1950s when the Lexington section of Route 128 highway was completed in 1958. The old Route 128 had existed in some form since the early 20th century, and in Lexington included parts of Waltham Street, Massachusetts Avenue, and Woburn Street. The Lexington section of Route 128 opened in August of 1951 and was completed all the way to Gloucester by 1958. The construction of highways further improved transportation networks and access to surrounding cities as more people began to own automobiles. In fact, Route 128 was widened to 8 lanes in the 1960s to compensate for this increase in automotive traffic. Highway development led to the influx of intellectuals and higher academics who sought the modern, well-designed economical houses of Lexington nearby to job centers. As demands for such conditions increased, Lexington began the development of housing communities to match these needs, such as the 5 Fields and Peacock Farm.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same.
The Architects Collaborative, a Cambridge-based architectural group, began building the 5 Farms community in 1951. The Peacock Farm development was begun a year later in 1952. The intellectuals who moved into these homes worked in universities and research facilities such as the Cambridge Research Labs, Lincoln Labs, and the Burlington Tech Corner. The new demographic demanded heightened infrastructure, leading to the development of the police station and fire station in Lexington Center and Massachusetts Avenue to ensure the well-being of the new citizens, as well as schools to secure higher education for the new generation. Lexington High School was constructed beginning in 1951. Diamond, Harrington, Hastings, Estabrook, and Bridge were all founded in the late 1950s to 1960s. Lexington suburbanization came in 2 large waves as a result of the railroad and later the highway. Both of these transportation developments changed Lexington from a historical farming community into the modern, intellectually focused suburb it is today.
Remember your name and address and telephone number too. And if someday you lose your way, you know just what to do. Walk up to the kind policeman, the very first one you meet,